Shalom, shalom, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. This is entitled, Who We Are and Who We Are Not. To the people who walk in darkness and gross ignorance, and are called by names such as Black, African Americans, West Indians, Dominicans, Afro-Brazilians, etc. The people who were brought from West Africa during the Great Enslavement and scattered all the way from Chile to Maine is this article addressed to. We are not niggers, Negroes, colored, Afros, Africans, Afro-Americans, African Americans, blacks, black people, West Indians, or Afro-Brazilians, etc. By design, planning, and cunning, we are the only people in the Western world whose ancestors came from another land, yet their descendants do not bear the name of their ancestors. All other people who have migrated to the United States still prefix before their Western country of nationality the name of their ancestral nationality. But when it comes to our people, we have been given new names that our people never knew or heard of antiquity. This is by master design. Take away from a people their story, their legacy, and culture, and then you have a dead, worthless, zombie-like people only fit to be eternal slaves. We have to learn our story and uplift ourselves. There is no land called black, nigger, or colored. Thus, there can be no black, nigger, or colored people by nationality. Afro and African. Where does the word Afro and African originate? It comes from the Latin language. It was taken from the general Scipio Africanus, who conquered Carthage and its territories. This is during what is referred to as the Punic Wars. The vast Carthaginian region was named Africa in honor of the Roman general. It is named Africa by colonizers and explorers over the course of 1,500 years to that continent. Since we are not the descendants of Scipio Africanus, we are not Africans. The understanding of Africa coming from the word Afrika is not accurate. The continent that is called Africa today is more properly called, when you find out, let me know. The next issue is black and blacks. There is no place on a continent that is currently called Africa by the name black. The word black comes from the Anglo-Saxon Germanic language, meaning having no light whatsoever, soiled, from soot, evil, sinister, chillish, depressing, gloomy, feces, etc. We are not those things. The word melanin is the English word referring to darkness of skin, not black. The skin color or shade of a person does not constitute their nationality. The skin color of the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean may be the same, yet they are not the same people by language, culture, and heritage. The skin color of the Tanzanian, Ethiopian, and Zulu may be the same, but they are not the same people by language, culture, and heritage. There were different tribes, nations, and cultures in the continent that is called Africa prior to colonization. Our people living in the Western world know only two things, race and color. The concept and understanding of nationality, national identity, national heritage, and culture has been destroyed. Skin color does not bind us together. It is our story, our legacy, and destiny that is the glue that make us a people, not a so-called race, color, and or religion. Who and what we are. We, the people who were brought from Western to the Western Hemisphere via the slave trade, are the bloodline and seed line descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Israelites. We are not black Israelites. We are not black Hebrews. We are not colored Jews. We are not black Jews. We are not Negro Jews. We are not Jewish. We are not black converts to Judaism. We are plain and simply the Israelites, or the people of Israel. Israelites vary in shades of color. Other writings speak on the issue of there being what we call light-skinned people, such as David, king of Israel, when you go to the book of Josephus, where it says he has a yellow skin tone. The true flesh and blood nation of Israel has never had a problem among themselves in dealing with the multicolored shades of their people. We only see this when we view ourselves through the eyes of those who hate us. The ancient Israelites saw nations as different nations, and all nations have a common linkage through the sons of Noah. Our ancestors migrated to the western part of what is called Africa from the time of Achab, king of Israel. There are and were 12 tribes of Israel. Legend says that 10 tribes were taken to the Assyrian captivity. Yet there is not one scripture nor Assyrian reference that says that they took 10 tribes of Israel. Upon study, we see that after the death of Solomon, there were 2 kingdoms, Judah to the south and Israel to the north. The tribe of Dan, we see, was smitten in the time of Baasha, the king of Israel. When you go to 1 Kings chapter 15, verse 20, what happened to these Danites? Well, it is said that the tribe of Dan left the land of Israel and migrated to what is now Ethiopia in part. According to historians, we see this. While they were in Ethiopia, they made the people of Cush pay tribute unto them. Some of the remnants of them are said to be who it is referred to incorrectly as the Falasha Jews, who call themselves the Beta Yisrael, who live in what is called Gondar, Ethiopia of today. The prophet Isaiah mentioned Ethiopia as one of the places where the Israelites were scattered. History and scriptures help us a lot in ascertaining the knowledge of where the tribes of Israel is located. History teaches us that Tiglath-Pileser III of Assyria took the tribe of Naphtali into captivity. When we go, brothers and sisters, to 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 29. And the same king, also known as King Pulu of Babylon, took the tribes of Gad, Manasseh, and Reuben into captivity as well. Sometime after that, we see Shalmaneser V, his son of Assyria, also known as King Ulai of Babylon. He took tribes from Issachar, Manasseh on the west side of the Jordan, Ephraim to the province of the Assyrian people. The king of Israel at that time was Hoshea, who was in league with Shabaka of Egypt, and this can be found in 2 Kings chapter 17. The king of Judah at that time was Ahaz, who was the father of Hezekiah. 2 Chronicles 30 shows us that Hezekiah, the king of Judah, in the 8th century BCE, made a proclamation to the tribes of Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Manasseh, and Ephraim to come to Jerusalem to keep the Passover. Some people of those tribes went. If they were in Judah at that time, we see that the story of the 10 lost tribes of Israel is a hoax. There were Israelites of the northern tribes who lived in the land of Judah. This even going all the way back to the dating of Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. The tribe of Dan, getting back to them while in Ethiopia, migrated west and formed the kingdom of Dan-Omi, meaning Dan is my people. After the Assyrian kingdom in the 7th century fell, what happened to the Israelites who were in the Assyrian captivity, one may ask? In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33, we see in part, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. It would stand to reason that the Israelites, who were then sent to Babylon, seeing that Babylon defeated Assyria in the 7th century BCE. Reason serves us to state that the Israelites fled to the land of Ham. Jeroboam fled to Egypt before he became king. Jeremiah was taken to Egypt by the children of Israel after the temple was destroyed. If a people were used to going to a place, why would they go north when they're used to going south? That's just logic. The tribes of Israel that scattered to Africa formed kingdoms and took tribes as well as bywords among themselves. Some of them being known as the kingdom of Mali, and prior to that, the kingdom of Ghana, and after that, the kingdom of Sangoi, and in between that, the Zegzeg, the Nufa, the Ashanti, the Bene Ephraim, aka the Yoruba, the Hausha estates, and the Igbo and the Oyo Empire. The tribe of Judah was taken to Babylon, getting back to that subject, in the year 597 and again in 586 BCE, the 6th century BCE. When Babylon fell to the Persians in the 6th century BCE, we see that Judah was told that they can go back to the land. If we have been following, we will see that it was not only specifically the tribe of Judah that went back to the land. For Ezra chapter 3 verse 1 says, in part, clearly, the children of Israel were in their cities. After the Persian Empire fell, we see the Greeks coming up as a world power. The tribe of Judah started to migrate also to the land of the Hamites. During the time of Seleucus I, we see that Jews of the tribe of Judah and other tribes were shipped to the land of Egypt. Some Israelites went to Egypt on their own as invited by Ptolemy. This is recorded in the book of Josephus. After the time of the Greeks, the Romans now come up as a power. The historian Philo says this: 1 million Hebrews resided in Libya and Egypt from the Catabathmos to the border of Ethiopia. Ishoner, in his book, The Lost Tribes of Myth, says the following: there was a period of over 600 years between Zephaniah and Philo, and considering the new wave of immigrants coming into Africa, they had 600 years to penetrate toward all the borders of Ethiopia. Hebrewism was detected by inscriptions from the Egyptian border westward across North Africa to Mauritania. Getting back to the matter, in the year 70 AD, the Roman general Titus, the son of Vespasian, burnt the temple, and the Israelites fought to retain what they had. After Titus, you had Domitian. After Domitian, you had the guy Nerva. Then you had Trajan. Then you had the gentleman we're going to get into now named Hadrian of Rome. He was actually a Spaniard who ruled in Rome. And in the 2nd century AD, the Israelites were not permitted to go back to their land. The Israelites were sent into northern Africa. The culture and heritage of the majority of the tribes in Western Sudan, the land of the Hamites that is, was actually Hebraic. The people of the Ashanti, the Akan, the Fanti, the Fulani, the Jukun, the Akim, the Ahanta, the Malinki, the Mandinka, the Sanofi, the Nufa, the Beoli, the Benin, the Inta, the Dan, the Fan, the Sangoi, the Ga, the Hausa, the Igbo, and the Bambera, etc. are Israelitish in culture, dress, language structure, marriage system, musical tonal styles, and general way of life. These are the people of Israel that was subjugated and brought to Western Africa, then brought to the Western Hemisphere. One historian states the following. J.A. Rogers in his books record the following: West Africa has black Jews also. The Great Enslavement was the wholesale destruction of the tribes in Western Sudan by the Christian, Muslim, and the Moors. According to historians, we see that there were 100 approximately people shipped from Western Africa to the Western Hemisphere, 2/3 going to Brazil, the West to Central America, also the West Indies, and many in North America were actually the remnants of those that were shipped to the West Indies. Remember, there were more black people who died in the slave ships than those who were landed. Concluding this, the days of niggerism, niggerology, blackism, blackology, Afroism, Afroology. I know some of those words are made up. Africanism, West Indianism, African Americanism, and all the other words that we have been called are to be put to an end. We see more and more leaders saying that our people are the children of Israel. However, we have been led by phony, flimsy leaders, some names not to be mentioned for edification purposes. All of those people knew that we were the children of Israel, such as Malcolm X knew, such as Martin Luther King knew. Can be noted when you hear Martin Luther King's last speech when he speaks about the Levites going to the promised land. Elijah Muhammad said many times that the black people in America are like the dry bones of Ezekiel. It should be noted that the bones of Ezekiel were the children of Israel in metaphor. Louis Farrakhan said that we are the children of Israel, as noted by many during what is referred to the speech in 1984. Martin Luther King also spoke upon this particular subject, as stated. The nations make history seem boring to us because they know that our story is the deepest and it shows that who is who. As a child, if I did the wrong thing, I was hoping that nobody was paying attention and that everybody was being happy and laughing. I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble. The same is with us. The nations hope that we stay happy and quiet and clapping and singing songs and so forth. As stated in the movie Roots, a slave is ignorant. He eats, he sleeps, and he's happy. If you teach him how to read, he'll become miserable. So, with that being stated, I'm just concluding this part here. This being entitled Hebrew Israelite History concluded. Shalom.